Hey, what's up guys? Jack and Matter with the Toasty Bros, and today we got a giant hunk of aluminum. This is a 13-year-old Mac Pro that someone spent well over $6K on 13 years ago.
Now PC users, don't be scared. This is a Mac, but it's not gonna bite. It's a pretty cool piece of hardware that was actually used for a lot of 3D rendering and stuff, and this is back when Macs were pretty upgradable too. But before we open this thing up, let's hear a word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is brought to you by Thermaltake and their Arctic i360T R4 custom gaming PC, featuring the latest 12 Gen i5 12600KF, 16 gigs of their tough RAM 3600MHz DDR4 memory, and an RTX 3060 Ti, while being housed in their awesome Core P3 open design case, making it not only a super powerful gaming and content creation machine, but a beautiful build that will look awesome on your gaming setup. To learn more about this awesome gaming PC from Thermaltake and many others, check the link down below, and special thanks again to Thermaltake for sponsoring today's video.
So basically we had a customer that, well, they just didn't really know what to do with this anymore, and they said, hey, I'm buying a computer for me guys, do you just want to take this old one off my hands? And we were like, sure, it'd be fun to do a video on. So yeah, we picked this thing up. It's still super dusty. It hasn't really seen the light of day in quite many years, and we're excited to check it out. We don't really know anything about this computer, and in all honesty, we don't really know a whole lot about Mac in general, but definitely looks like alien technology. So we're excited just to kind of open it up, check out the parts, and then hopefully see if this thing still works and what exactly it looks like once you actually get into the operating system.
And can we actually load a game? That'd be the best part. If it can load a game, that's pretty cool. Let's do it.
All right, so it came with two things. It came with this power cord, which is pretty standard, except it has like this little block on the back that makes it look really clean. And then a DVI to HDMI adapter, because this thing only has HDMI and, what is that, mini DisplayPort or something?
Yeah, mini DisplayPort.
Yeah, and then it looks like we have like some, is it eSATA? Ports right there. I think that's what that is, eSATA.
Yeah, I think it is.
Never actually used eSATA before, but that's what I'm assuming it is. We have USB Gen 3. No, I'm just kidding. These are like USB 2s or even before that. I see some optical audio in and out. We have like a normal audio port, dual Ethernet, which is kind of weird to see. And then, do you know what these are, Matt?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know exactly what those are.
Probably EMC squared.
EMC squared?
Like yeah.
McAllister, you need to figure out what that port is and put it on screen right
Basically, this little latch in the back right here is what opens it up, and so you just pop that, and then, yeah. I thought this was interesting too, because I kind of like took the panel off at one point. It's like actually like has a grommet on the side, like to actually, like a seal, like a weatherproof seal. So it was waterproof. No,
It's a seal?
It's a seal, or a Navy seal. This is another thing that's really interesting about this, is check this out. So this is actually like the latch mechanism that holds the side panel on. And then these guys right here are a bunch of bays that are actually hot swappable. So you can just pull these out and then you put your hard drive or SSD in there. So I'm gonna stick this guy back in here, and we're gonna find this one over here, for example, has an actual hard drive in it, and it's hot swaps. Like you can literally just pop it in, and you can kind of see down in there, it just clicks into the board. The SATA data and the power are just right there. So we got look at that, a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda drive. Can never complain about those. And then it looks like there's another drive next to us. I think I was told there's an SSD in this too.
Nice.
A 1 terabyte Apple drive. That's kind of crazy to see. When is this from? This Apple drive, and if you guys are ever curious, you can find dates on these typically. This could be an exception because
May 2010.
2010, yeah. So this might have actually came with it, in all honesty. Let me actually put this in the right way instead of putting it in backwards. And then, this is the main drive, and we got a solid state drive. It's an ELF. It's an ELF drive, but it's a 256 gig SanDisk. This probably would have been pretty big money back when this was installed, because I'd imagine, 2010, 2011. And this is probably installed a little bit after, but still, even they might have spent $500 in that drive. Now, this is where things get kind of complicated. Once you actually look inside of here, I mean, you can see it has a pretty standard like looking motherboard until you kind of get further down, and you see this GPU is kind of held in by like a plate, but it's still kind of mostly a standard PCI lane. Look at all these lanes in here. But then it gets weird towards the bottom, because you have your RAM that's like vertically mounted, so it has like a riser board, and then I'm assuming our CPU is under this ginormous, and I mean like ginormous aluminum heatsink, and like this thing's massive. And yeah, this thing, the base price from what I could find with the hard drive was like $4,700. Now, this person actually upgraded to this graphics card right here. We got a nice ATI Radeon card. They obviously upgraded the RAM, because look at that, we got PNY. I don't even know if it actually has any branding on here. It literally just says 64 OM. So yeah, I doubt it's 64 gigs. So I guess first let's turn it on.
Let's turn it on and
see what happens. You know, depending on if it works or not, which I think it's gonna work. The person that had this took really good care of any of the other systems that they've, you know, traded into us. And so I definitely get a vibe it's gonna work. And, you know, if it does and everything goes well, maybe at the end of the video or somewhere, maybe we'll take it apart a little bit and take a peek inside, because we do need to clean it for sure. Okay, we got air coming out of a bunch of spots.
There's definitely a lot of dust buildup on this fan right here.
Yeah, we got a fan in the front that's spinning as well. That's kind of, so one thing that's really interesting, it has the speakers. Well, dude, I heard the Mac sound. So there's a fan right here and here. Notice how they actually chambered off the CPU. That's actually really crazy.
It's probably like
that's
a chamber cooling design.
Yeah, that's actually super interesting to see. So yeah, now we're gonna go ahead and get a monitor hooked up, and we're just gonna see if this thing displays out. This guy's probably gonna have this guy's information on it, so we may have to, you know, like either delete some icons. Obviously, we're gonna factory reset it once we're done, because we don't want to show you guys any of that stuff. So let's do it. All right, so we got into the Mac, and it was actually pretty easy. We just plugged in the monitor, and it just worked. I mean, I guess it's kind of what Macs are known for. But yeah, we just signed into the guest account since we didn't have like a password or anything. And as you can see, it has OS X El Capitan, which from what we could tell was like 2015, maybe end of 2016. So it looks like it hasn't been used in about 7 years. And even then, it's like, who knows when the last time it was really heavily used. But as you can see, the basic overview is the Xeon, just says 2.66 quad core, 16 gigs of DDR3, surprisingly. And then an ATI Radeon HD 4870 with the 512 gigs.
Half a gig.
Pretty crazy. But then going over to like storage, as you can see, we really were utilizing storage on this. So here's like our SSD that still has a lot free. Hard drive has nothing on it. That's the Macintosh hard drive. And then, which actually has Boot Camp on it, which, well, yeah, I guess that is. Yeah, okay, yeah, it looks like it partitioned itself out. So we don't know how to get into that, but yeah, I remember him saying that he kind of had to use Windows for a lot of the stuff he was doing. And then here's that 2 terabyte that, I don't know why they call it Mac X. Does that mean that it also has, and why is this PCX? No.
That's a good question. The partitioning is kind of weird.
See, we don't know any of this works. This is, yeah, and then it tells actually which RAM slots, and as you can see, we have 16 gigs of RAM. So Matt's watching a video right now on how to reset this thing, because we're only in a guest account, and so we can't download Steam or anything else, and we really want to try gaming on this, of course. So Matt said he thinks we need to get to like the BIOS, but I don't even know how Macs work. Like, do we even have a BIOS?
I remember doing this at one point, but you know, we got homie, let's shout him out here. We got Handmade Tech.
He said to smash the follow button.
So he is doing it on a MacBook. I'm assuming it'll work perfectly fine because it's just Mac OS, if there's any common sense here, but we'll see. Okay, he's eating Cheez-Its. And we got a new install of El Capitan. So basically what we did was hit, well, Command R, but Windows R. And then we went inside there and uninstalled the OS from the SSD. And then it was easily able to install the OS onto the SSD after that. It was actually pretty simple. Only thing is now I had to sign in with my Apple ID. So my Apple ID is forever attached to this unless we wipe it again. So we got that going for us. But yeah, look at that, 7 minutes. It's currently downloading the install from the interwebs, and then we'll be good to go to do some stuff with it.
Have the latest updates. Let's do it.
The latest.
And that macOS install did not go as smooth as possible. For some reason, the install just constantly failed on this Mac Pro. Once we uninstalled it and did the reinstall, it did not work. So we decided to hand this thing off to our tech support guy over at PC Bros, Will, you know, the ravioli guy.
I got a serving bowl and I had 3 whole cans of ravioli, like whole cans of ravioli. And I put it in this serving bowl. I ate it all in one serving, and I just went home. I didn't even wash the bowl.
And he took it to a friend who was able to install a unsupported version of macOS, a version beyond the maximum supported version, which was a version beyond El Capitan, which is what we had installed on here, and things started to go downhill from that moment on.
It seems to work, it's very buggy. Like, certain games don't launch, the audio's kind of weird. At first the USB wasn't working. Like, it's definitely a weird fix where it's like, it's nice and modern, but I think that almost has maybe caused some issues on it.
Yeah, the OS is the latest, but there are still programs that don't physically support the hardware in this. So like, you can get a latest program that works on the latest version of Mac OS, but whatever CPU and GPU or whatever we got going on here just doesn't work in general. So that is a limiting factor, but that's not gonna stop us from trying to game on it and trying to play CSGO on low settings and get like...
FPS is already scaring me.
Yeah,
like, just the menu's laggy. It's hard to say, because I mean, like, I don't think the computer itself's bad by any means. Like, even though it's 2009, I feel like if this was Windows and we had the same specs, I think it'd be a little bit better. Yes. I think it's just because we're trying to do this on Mac OS that's not supported.
So let's play some games.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I got this.
Oh, whoa,
Wow, that
what
was
is
actually-
going? Oh no!
Oh, I didn't even know. Oh my god.
Oh no!
Can I still get kills though? Oh, the bot just killed me.
So about those shadows.
And I feel like this isn't like, this is beyond it. They don't look right. This is like, this is very wrong.
Yeah, it could be literally the driver just doesn't work on this version of macOS, which would make a whole lot of sense.
It's so weird though that,
Oh God.
it's so weird that when it was in 1080, it was working fine. Easy, GG,
Oh,
easy.
well, it's
nerd.
like it fixed the shadow when you killed him. His body fell and then it got rid of the green. Look, see when he's standing there, it like.
Oh yeah.
It's
It's
so
like when it's
weird.
around a player. Yeah, let's try to put a 460 in, and let's just see what happens. I mean,
Might as well at this
it's
point.
not like,
Oh, okay. It's not gonna get any worse.
what is the desktop?
What is
this? It's, I guess it's almost like,
Yeah.
because it's so weird how Windows like integrates games. It almost felt like that like emulated the game,
Yeah.
you know?
It may have been the support
it's
on
fine
CS Ghost, I don't know. Let's
Yeah.
find a GPU. All right, so I got balloons up and everything. Some of the controls are kind of weird on Mac where you have to do left and right at the same time to drag. So that's kind of weird, but I'm gonna do that. And I mean, we're getting 60 FPS. Can't really tell you what settings we're at, but 60 FPS, cool. I believe this is because, I could be wrong, but I thought there was an Apple mouse, the Magic Mouse, that is a single click. So that might be why I need to do two at the same time to just emulate that single click. But we are getting 60 FPS, so if someone had this system and they wanted to play a mobile game like this on the side, they most certainly could. The install of the latest version of Mac OS that technically does not support on this Mac Pro. Maybe that's where we went wrong, but still cool that this works, you know, from 2009, playing Balloon Tower Defense. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hunt a little bit and see if I can get Minecraft to work, because I think that'd be kind of cool to see a game that people actually play regularly still. So let's just go and do that. Well, look at that, I got Minecraft to work. That was actually a lot simpler than I thought, just downloading Minecraft and signing into my Microsoft account, and it seems to work. The FPS ain't great though, 23, 30 FPS. I'll go and get rid of that so you can actually see the gameplay, but yeah, I mean, on an older GPU, I mean, you know, it's at least somewhat playable. 30 FPS Minecraft isn't something I would necessarily recommend, but let's see what kind of settings we can lower here. We are on like fancy graphics though, so. Let's go to fast, let's lower the render distance down a little bit. Disable VSync, get rid of bobbing. Let's see. Oh yeah, that feels better. Yeah. I like it. There's some weird like issues with the textures right there. I know this GPU is having some like shader issues, I think. Let's see what that did to the FPS numbers. Oh yeah, look, we're in the 60s now, baby. Woo, nice to see that, 60 FPS. I mean, obviously you're not primarily gaming on a system like this when you buy it, especially when we spend the thousands of dollars you do for rendering. But the main issue I had, and I'll go ahead and show you guys, I actually had Blender installed so we could actually do a test render, is I think there's some issue with the compatibility again with this install, because any Blender test run I do says it's gonna take like 7 hours. I don't know if that's just standard from a PC back in 2009. I mean, to be fair, I probably should be looking at renders from 2009 instead of something from like 2015, 2016 from like the Blender library. But we'll go ahead and run Geekbench here. Now that I see that you can actually get some Minecraft gameplay in here, you know, you can do survival, have a fun time on the side. But yeah, that was actually kind of painless compared to everything else throughout this process. Let's run Geekbench. So Geekbench will go ahead and show us that we are on a Mac Pro early 2009. We do have the Intel Xeon W3520 in here, 16 gigs of RAM, and we'll go ahead and run the CPU benchmark, and then we'll run a compute benchmark so we can actually compare this system across some other Mac devices and just kind of see what we're working with. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this run. There's no real like animation or anything. We're just gonna see what the numbers pop up and go from there. All right guys, so we ended up with a single core score of 516 and a multi-core score of 1,983. I'm wondering if we can compare that to some modern Mac hardware. You know, I'm gonna look up a comparison here. Yeah, so if we're looking at even an iPad Pro with the new M1, we're getting a single core score of 1,716 versus 516, and a multi-core score of 7,265 versus 1,983. So even an iPad nowadays will run circles around the hardware in this desktop. So it's crazy to see what Apple's doing with their M1 chips and the M1 Pro and all of that. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, in terms of benchmarks, that's really what we're going to do. I'm gonna go ahead and launch Blender as well, just to show you that I made an honest attempt on Blender. I think Blender is just not gonna work properly, again, on this install or this hardware with this one, let's see, here's Splash, the Splash 279 test. It loads up eventually, but once you actually get inside here and you run the render, it gives you a preview time of like 7 or 8 hours, and everything just looks incredibly broken. So what I ended up doing was trying this very cursed Fishy Cat render. We're gonna try this one instead and see if this works. So it says press F12, the first cat scene will be rendered, then automatically the green scene will be rendered, the final composition will pop out. So we just kind of let it run and see. Oh man, oh no. Oh no, McAllister, oh no. What? This is not, oh no. And look at that, it took 1 minute and 54 seconds to render out Fishy Cat. Does that mean anything to anybody? I don't know, but hey, you know what? I got a render to work, and it's a Mac from 2009. I mean, in reality, what else can we do with it? But now that we finished the benchmarking section of this video, let's just bring Jackson back in here to wrap this video up real quick.
All right guys, so we just got done sort of benchmarking this Mac Pro, and sadly we're kind of out of time. We really have a lot of videos we're needing to move to because we're actually doing 7 videos a week at the moment. So yeah, we really need to move on, and we were gonna actually get some video footage of us cleaning it and everything. Maybe you'll see something on DIY or something along those lines, but it will be for sale at PC Bros. So maybe if you wanna buy this thing at the off chance, it will be there.
So yeah, it's pretty cool that we could see a 13-year-old Mac Pro, and it's still capable of doing some things, while be it, as I showed you with the Geekbench scores, a M1 iPad is almost 7 times better in terms of processing power compared to this thing. So that just shows you how far technology has advanced and how far Apple's actually come with their own processors. So if you want to learn more about these, maybe check the links down below. I'm not sure what they'll link to. Maybe we'll link Mac Pros on eBay. I don't know. Links down below. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of video. If there's any other older hardware you want to see on the channel, let us know. We did the Commodore 64. We did this. Maybe we'll go even further back and try to find something else nice and fun.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
And just like I said, this will be for sale at PCBros.tech, which is our PC selling business, but we also have a lot of high-end stuff too.
PCBros.tech is where we sell high-end gaming PCs, gaming laptops, and even budget stuff. If you're looking to save some money and use code ToastyBros2, you can save even more money, 2%, on your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.